Yet again, this one goes out to the degenerates. Yo ho ho, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another edition of the Don Mafia Show. Say that you're new here. My name is Dan Mitchell. I am an avid member of the Bills Mafia, and I regularly put out videos about the Buffalo Bills and the NFL in general. And so if that is your cup of tea, I highly recommend subscribing to this channel and joining the family. And as always, smashing the ever-living out of that like button. So that is right, everyone. You did read that title correctly. This episode, I am going to be giving you my NFL Week 13 picks and predictions. Not gonna lie, last week, your boy was a bit on a hot streak. So we're gonna see if we can keep this rolling. And so on top of the picks and the predictions, I'm also gonna give you what I feel like is the safest bet for all you gamblers out there. And that's a tremendous segue to today's sponsor, and that just so happens to be BetUS. There are several sports books out there, super highly competitive, but let me tell you what, I found the GOAT. Now, this platform not only allows you to put down the classic bets of point spreads, over-unders, money lines, but they have a bunch of other very creative bets that you can place between player props and whatever you can damn well imagine for not only football, but literally every other single sport. And so the best part about it is that they are hooking up my audience, where you'll find two exclusive links in my description. One of which is when you sign up, you get a free $50 that you can gamble away with. And the second one is that when you put in your initial deposit, they will match 125%. This is basically free money, ladies and gentlemen. And if you know what you're talking about, like half of you demonstrate you do in the comments section, you could easily turn that into easy money. So whatever you're doing, sign up for BetUS. Let's get this money. Week 13, ladies and gentlemen. I have been looking forward to this because there's a lot of very, very good games going on, a lot of playoff implications, a lot of narratives that can be addressed during this particular week, and I am absolutely pumped. Starting off, and yes, it's probably going to be a bit biased, but I have the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. Thursday Night Football, right on Amazon Prime. The New England Patriots defense has slept on, top 5 in the entire league. Their front 7 is absolutely scary. Their offense is doo-doo. Now we're going up against the Buffalo Bills, who are riddled with injuries, but our offense is slowly but surely starting to click a bit more. The defense of the Buffalo Bills side, and so it's still a bit on the injured realm, especially in the secondary. However, I do see the Buffalo Bills coming out on top with this game and improving to 9-3. As far as any bet that I am going to place, I really like the over at 43.5 on this, right? This is a divisional game. I think it's going to be super competitive. I think the Buffalo Bills offense is going to get back on top, get back into their normal efficiency, and then the New England Patriots are due for at least 1 or 2 defensive scores. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. The Green Bay Packers are more than likely going to be without Aaron Rodgers. He's not only nursing a thumb injury, but also what he recently sustained with his rib. So we're going to see Jordan Love. It's the Jordan Love show out there. And then we're going up against the Chicago Bears. And so Justin Fields will be back. I expect him to have a huge game on the ground. If there's a player prop bet on BetUS with Justin Fields that has anything to do with rushing yards for Justin Fields, I would take that one per se. But I do see the Bears coming out on top with this. As far as a bet that I personally am going to put down, and so I really like the under. This is also set at 43.5 at this point. I think that with Jordan Love being with an offense that is already not very good in Green Bay, and then you also have the Chicago Bears, who's going up against a pretty solid Green Bay defense, I think hammering the under 43.5 on this game is easy money. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons. Ladies and gentlemen, the Atlanta Falcons still have a very good chance of winning their division, mostly because that NFC South is just god-awful. Now, I do see the Falcons coming out on top with this. I think the Steelers are largely in a rebuilding sort of period. I know Najee Harris ended up going off this past week, but I do see the Falcons winning. As far as any bet is concerned with this game, I'm just going to have to go with the Atlanta Falcons money line. Now, the Jets and the Vikings game is going to be very, very interesting. We saw the performance that Mike White put out there. It seems like that the Jets offense just works better with him. Sorry, Zach Wilson, stick the moms. Then we're talking Kirk Cousins, 1 o'clock Kirk Cousins. This is going to be a very, very high scoring game, but I do see the Vikings coming out on top with this. We all know what happened last year when Mike White dominated the Bengals, and then his very next start wasn't quite the same. However, I do see this being very, very high scoring as well. This is not a trend. I promise you I'm going to pick something other than the over and under once this video is over with. BetUS has it at 44.5, and then I'm going to hammer the damn over. I think that this is going to be an absolute high-scoring game. Crazy. So next up, we have the Jaguars and the Detroit Lions. The Jaguars, man, they definitely pulled off a shocker last year. As a Bills fan, I was on the defeating blow of the random win from Jacksonville last year, but now the Ravens finally have it, so thank God for passing the torch. And so, however, I do really, really like the Lions. I think the Lions have been on the cusp of so many close victories, and they're losing their games by a very small point margin. I think the Lions are going to kill them, frankly. I really, really do. And so it's funny because Jacksonville is currently favored right now, but as far as any bet that I am putting down, you best believe I am taking the Detroit Lions money line. It's the Tennessee Titans and the Philadelphia Eagles. I saw something interesting the other day saying that Coach Vrabel of Tennessee, he's like some ridiculous number against the spread, like 21-7. Right now, BetUS has the Philadelphia Eagles as 5-point favorites to win this game. The Tennessee Titans are going to win this game. I've said this before in my previous content that the best 5 teams in the AFC would beat the Eagles literally by 2 scores each and every single time, and that's what's going to happen. I see the Titans winning this game, and then I am hammering that money line. Next up, we got the Browns and the Texans. The return of the massage connoisseur himself, Deshaun Watson, is going up against his old team. The Houston Texans are very, very sorry. I do see, however, them playing with a bit more fire, especially since they are going up against their former quarterback, who obviously wanted nothing to do with Houston. I see Deshaun Watson being very, very rusty. I mean, dude literally hasn't played in regular season football in over 2 years. The run game is still really good. I do see the Browns winning this game, but right now they have the over-under at 47. And in my opinion, looking at it, there is no way that both of these teams are putting up 47 points. I just do not see it. I am taking the under on this, and that's almost like guaranteed easy money. The Washington Commanders and the New York Giants. The Commanders ended up pulling off a pretty solid victory against the Atlanta Falcons this past week, and then the New York Giants ended up dropping one to the Dallas Cowboys. I do see the Giants coming out on top. I see them getting right. So with that being said, BetUS currently has the Commanders as -2 favorites. I'm going to take the New York Giants money line. Next up, the Broncos versus the Ravens. I really don't think that there's much of an analysis right here. I think that right now Russell Wilson is a bottom 5 quarterback in the league. Their offense is absolutely inept, and they should be ashamed to share a locker room with their defense, who has been playing wonderfully this year. The Ravens are going to kick their ass. And so the Ravens are really mad about the Jacksonville Jags game. I think they're going to get right, and this is just going to be an absolute slaughter. And so I'm going to go with the Ravens -9 with the points. Like, I just have a feeling that this is about to be a revenge game, and they're just going to take their frustrations out on this sorry excuse of a football team that Denver's. So, man, the Dolphins and the Niners is going to be a very exciting game. I'm going to be watching it because I want to watch the Dolphins lose their next 4, frankly. Because, I mean, obviously, as a Bills fan, who wouldn't at this point? I do see the 49ers winning this game. I think that they are sleeper Super Bowl contenders right now. Their defense is amazing, and Jimmy G is just an absolute great game manager. I think McCaffrey is going to go off, say that he is healthy. I saw that he was in the injury report, but I feel like he is every single week. Deebo Samuel, that defensive line, their secondary. I see the Niners winning this game. If I had to place a bet, so I'm not sure if I want to go with the over-under at 46.5. So just to be safe, I'm probably just going to go on ahead and hammer the 49ers money line. Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. I'm just going to get right to it. I see the Seattle Seahawks winning this game. The Rams probably have a historically bad Super Bowl hangover. This team is just not the same that they were last year, and the Seahawks are getting hot at the right time. I see the Seahawks winning this game handedly. With that being said, I will definitely go with the point spread and the Seahawks and give them -7. So next up, we have the Chargers and the Raiders. Nice little gritty divisional game at this point, but I see Herbert coming out on top, although their team is absolutely ravished in injuries. So while the Raiders have not necessarily been the most flashiest team or most exciting team to watch, as far as any bets that I'm going to put down, I see that the over and under is set at 50.5. And so I think we're going to have to go with the over on that, especially since both teams' defenses, the Chargers are just really bad off with injuries, and the Raiders' defense is just absolutely doo-doo. So I'm going to have to really go with a high-scoring game, but I do see the Chargers coming out on top. The Chiefs and the Bengals, a rematch of the AFC Championship last year. Everyone had their questions on the Cincinnati Bengals at the beginning of this season, but it seems like that they're coming back, okay? And then Jamar Chase is going to be back as well. They're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. I see the Bengals winning this game. I really, really do. I think that there's a lot of favorable matchups from the Cincinnati's wide receiver core right up against the Chiefs secondary by itself. Their defense is playing decent. It's going to be a super high-scoring game. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are favored, and they're giving the Bengals plus 2.5. I am taking that 110%. But I see the Bengals winning, and then an easy bet would be plus 2.5. It's going to be very close. Even if the Bengals don't win, it's going to be that close of a game. And so next up, you have the Colts and the Dallas Cowboys. And wow, let me tell you what, and holy shit, the Cowboys are favored by 11 points right now, according to BetUS. I see the Dallas Cowboys winning this game, but if you're going to tell me that they're going to beat the Colts by minus 11, not necessarily seeing that, man. I'm really, really not necessarily seeing that. I see the Cowboys winning this game, but I'm going to go on ahead and take that Colts plus 11. Last but not least, we have the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a matchup of the worst division in football. It's really hard to understand which Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to show up, which Tom Brady is going to show up. So as far as betting on this game, it's going to be pretty difficult. However, I do see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming out on top. Although the Saints have historically had their number for a very long time, the only thing I'm even going to touch is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers money line at this point. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to have to do it for my Week 13 picks. Once again, if you want to bet along with me, and you can check out those links in my description for BetUS. There's a bunch of stuff to check out over there. Sound off in the comments. Is there anything that you would consider to be easy money with any of the games that I just listed out? Would love to hear it. Once again, make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Smash the out of that like button, and before I let you go, better always remember, let's go Buffalo.